I'm Beth Jacobson.
I'm Pam Lathrop.
And this is the November edition of the Beloit Today Show. And we're here at the Vision Center downtown as they're getting ready for Christmas already.
I know, I can't believe I'm pulling a candy cane. It's too early.
It is very early, but they have to get prepared for Thanksgiving and Christmas shopping and the window decorating and starts downtown.
There's a lot going on downtown. I can't wait for you to talk to Shauna about that.
Yes, Shauna has a lot to say. There's lots of things happening, even though the weather's changing. It's always hot or really cold for our shows.
Absolutely. And later on, you'll find us outside, doing a bit outside with Bill Dorr. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also going to be talking to someone at the library, two people at the library actually, about a couple of programs that they have going on. So I won't give away any secrets. I
love their programs that they do. And then I'm also meeting with, on a more serious note, I'm meeting with Chris Walsh in light of the recent hurricane, or I think they're calling it a cyclone. We're talking a little bit about emergency management at the city of Beloit in case anything ever happened. I think it's important for our residents to know that we're prepared. So, a little serious one, but otherwise great things happening.
A lot of fun in the show, so stay tuned.
Hi, I'm here with Chris Walsh, and she's the Director of Operations at Public Works. I'm sure if you've lived in the city of Beloit for any amount of time, you've probably seen her name written all over a lot of the things that happen here. And this interview is a little bit more serious than the ones that we normally do. And Pam and I thought that in light of the recent, are they calling it a hurricane that occurred out there, or a cyclone?
It's a definite hurricane. Sandy is what you're talking about? Yes.
So in light of Sandy, we thought we would just tell the public a little bit about what we do at the City of Beloit. And we have 7 minutes, but I assure you, Chris could talk all day about emergency management. So let's talk a little bit about the storm that we had in July, which was certainly not a hurricane, but we sustained damage. It's probably the biggest thing we've had in recent history. And tell us about the reimbursement that we got and how that process works.
Okay. So July 24th, residents, especially on the west side, woke up to trees coming even through their houses, through garages, and the City of Beloit mobilized all resources. We plan in advance for storms like that. That was more a wind shear that went through the City of Beloit, so way tiny compared to Sandy, but still we had a lot of damage. We had mobilized the emergency services sector, which is Public Works, Police, Fire, Emergency Medical, and actually emergency management from Rock County came to assist us. We just secured the funding, just finished that, and back to the general fund they'll be going approximately $127,000.
So what happens is there was a storm in July, and as our staff goes out and repairs our infrastructure, they have to document every tree, every vehicle we used, every chainsaw, and then we speak to the federal government and ask for money. So this is the November show, and this is actually a pretty quick response because the storm was isolated to a small area. We were able to sort of work through that process, but typically it can take much longer.
Up to a year. Typically it's a year for a federal declaration.
So that worked in our favor, but typically what we do on a general day-to-day basis is that we try to be prepared for the storm in advance, and there's 4 steps that Chris will talk about, but the first step is mitigation, where we try to build infrastructure that would withstand a more than typical storm.
Right, so if you think back to the flood that the City of Beloit experienced, mitigation was really important because part of the mitigation is being ready for whatever hits you and looking at critical assets, critical infrastructure like Beth just said. So water, wastewater, what we did to mitigate damage to the plant and to disruption of service was actually have generators at all of the areas, all have backup power. Our facility to be able to get our trucks in and out, we have a generator to be able to continue to communicate during disasters. You know, it is shoring up, Rock River, all of the work that went into that. You might think it's just for beautification, but it's actually for storm mitigation. So it's things that make the community sustainable. That's what mitigation is.
And if you think of something that was, I've lived in Beloit my whole life, and I never really considered it this way, but if you think of any time you drive west to the west side of the river, there's always a hill that you end up going up to get to the west side, and you can think that if the power goes out, we still need to pump water to every single resident on the west side, and so that's something that we do, is that if power is lost, there are still pumps that can be done. Now, the second one is preparing and planning, and we won't get into all of it, but can you talk a little bit about NIMS and the training that you make, all the very boring training that you make our staff go through?
NIMS actually stands for National Incident Management Program, and we just had 6 more people that spent 3 days behind a computer during their first phase of NIMS. But actually, NIMS is really important because it puts us all on the same operating page, and it gives us the principles by which we want to work through. So that's kind of NIMS, and we do tabletops, functionals, and full-scale exercises. So we play together.
And I apologize. It's boring for me, but it is actually it's important, and it's important for us to know our roles. When there is an emergency, you can just fall into place and know the paperwork that you're responsible for. Now, the next one is, let's see here, is the response. So when we have an emergency, and an emergency can qualify even having a special guest in the city, or having Riverfest, or having any other event, we prepare for that. And can you talk a little bit about that?
Definitely. I think the general public sees response, the response part of emergency management, as that's what it is. And clearly Beth and I are telling you that's only one portion, and it's a very small portion. The response portion would be getting roads cleared. It's the immediate action to protect life and property and the environment. So those 3 things are what we're looking at during the very quick response.
And if you ever see a press release from the city of Beloit, you'll hear that first things first, we need to maintain safety, make sure everyone is healthy and alive, and then we will start to clear streets. And essentially, we try to get back to where we can so people can go about their day-to-day business, and then we kind of dig deeper into everything else. So after the emergency is the recovery. That's the part that you typically don't see, and that's typically falls on your staff. Let's be serious.
So the recovery is the largest phase of all of emergency management, and typically, like Beth said, Public Works is responsible for it because we are responsible for the country's infrastructure, which means Beloit's infrastructure, roads, bridges, structures, water, wastewater, things that people need to live. And recovery can take a very long time, just like in Sandy. It will be years before they recover, just like 9/11. It was Public Works that did the recovery of 9/11, and they spent years at that site.
So just so you know, at the city of Beloit, we have, I would say, a handful of people at the city that are above and beyond their normal, the normal required training spectrum, and Chris is one of them. We have a couple other people that train NIMS classes, and we're grateful to have them on staff because they're the leaders when there's an emergency. And you know, Chris, I can't thank your staff enough for the things that they do, the things that the community can't see. And so thank you for the interview. And is there anything else you want the public to know?
No, I think that's it. Just to realize that emergency management goes on 24/7 here in reality.
Well, thank you again for the interview. And if you have questions, call Chris. Hi, I'm here with Santa and Shauna Elamine, the Downtown Beloit Association Director, and she's going to talk about a bunch of events that we have going on downtown in the winter months. So first things first, I see we're decorating here at the Vision Center.
Yes, we are doing the window decorating contest, and we are participating this year. So we're going to be decorating all the windows today and tomorrow, so you can come out and see them. And then all the businesses downtown are welcome to participate in the window decorating contest. And you can go on Facebook on our account, Downtown Beloit Association, or you can go on our email and email us and vote for your favorite window.
So when will the voting take place, or what's the deadline?
The voting takes place from now until the day after Thanksgiving for the Grand Lighted Holiday Parade. Then the winner will be announced.
So onto the Grand Holiday Lighted Parade. That's the Friday after Thanksgiving?
Yep, Black Friday. It starts at 5:30 downtown. So we'll have Santa arriving, lighting the tree, and then we'll do a parade of all the floats.
So Santa arrives downtown. They light the tree downtown at the First National Bank Park, and the gantry will be lit this year.
Yes, it will. Nice and pretty colors. Yes.
And then there'll be the grand lighted parade, which I know is always a family favorite, although it's always so cold. Every year I just am cold just thinking about it. And then you'll announce the winners for the window decorating contest there.
Yep, we have an announcer. It's going to be Tim Brummel again this year, and he'll be kind of officiating the whole entire parade, and then he'll announce the winners.
And you already, if someone wants to be in the parade, do they contact you?
Yes, you can just come to either our website, downtownbeloit.com, or just come into the office, 500 Public Avenue, and get a form for that.
And then we also have Holidazzle, right? And I know that's where we get a lot of Christmas gifts, correct?
Yes, it's December 7th this year. It's going to be from 6 to 9 downtown, and you can go and do all your holiday shopping, get it done, and then you can relax until Christmas.
And is that a Friday night, or what day of the week is that?
Yeah, that's always a Friday night. And we have the trolley coming this year, too, so you can actually get a ride downtown with the trolley if you have too many bags to carry.
And it's all downtown businesses, or how far out does it go?
The whole district participates. So there's a few businesses that don't, but we will have an available list that night that you can pick up, and then we'll be passing out. Here at 500 Public, we'll definitely be participating too, so we'll have more flyers here that you can pick up that night.
And I heard a rumor that someone will be here at 500 Public Avenue.
For the Grand Lighted Holiday Parade, somebody will be here. It will be the real Santa, and Mrs. Claus will be here this year instead of at Turtle Creek Bookstore, because we have such a huge building here. We wanted to highlight it, and we'll have some other stuff going on here too, like cookies and all that with Santa.
So the kids can wait inside if they're waiting for Santa, and they can come here and warm up after the parade.
Definitely, whereas you don't want to stand outside after the parade, so we wanted it to be inside. So you can come in, and there's plenty of room for all the kids to hang out here and talk to Santa and look at our tree and look at our window and all that kind of stuff.
So when this airs, people can already start voting on the window displays. Then the Friday after Thanksgiving is the Grand Holiday Lighted Parade. They can come down here, see the parade, come see Santa. And then December 7th is Holidazzle, when you can get your Christmas shopping done downtown.
Yeah, it's a busy month. It's really, really busy, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, we're excited. Shauna, thank you, as always, for allowing us to interview Santa. Thanks for participating with us. And as always, come downtown. Make sure you eat downtown, and then you stay for all of these events.
I'm sitting on a bench in Horace White Park with Bill Dorr. This particular bench is a very special bench because it's in memory of Steve Gregg, who was an instrumental part of the early years of this show. Bill Dorr is a great friend of Steve's, and he took it upon himself with the Church Street neighborhood to raise some funds, and Bill's going to tell us how that came about.
Well, little bit is that there's a little bit of history as far as Church Street. About 26 years ago when we moved in, and Steve had already bought his house and was quite instrumental in Beloit College in raising funds for the alumni office and stuff. And so right away, our neighborhood got together and we started saying, what do we want to do for our neighborhood? And some of the things where we downzoned our neighborhood, we established historic preservation for the neighborhood. There was a park that the college had, a little piece of land, and we turned it into a park called Bink Knowles Garden. So we had our neighborhood picnic. So we always were quite a tight group. And then probably was 2007, and we decided that we would take 100 pumpkins and carve them, put them in the park, light them, and see if people give us $5 for them, and then we'd raise $500. Well, our first year, some of the pumpkins weren't carved real nice, so we didn't sell all of them, but we got better every year, and we'd light them for about an hour and a half, and got to the point where we were using stencils and made them quite elaborate. You can go on the internet, if you do like Beloit pumpkins, there's probably 2 of the events are on film, and it shows a lot of and it's just the kids, and you hear the people talking and laughing and having fun. And so over that period of time from 2007 to, we did it for 4 years. and we had raised $1,679 from carving pumpkins. And we always thought, I think, when did Larry get here? That was
Larry came in about 2003.
2003, and there was always a push, I think, even with Larry, kind of like, let's be concerned how Beloit looks and let's the parks and everything. So I think it originated from that, and we said, look we can do something. So the thing we wanted to do was a bench. And at that time, Steve was still alive, so it wasn't. There probably would have just said pumpkins in the park, dedicated kind of thing. And then after Steve had passed away and the neighbors, we all got together and just said, he was so instrumental in a lot of our ideas. He was always there for us, and Lily, watching her grow up as well. So it ended up that we decided to put a bench in the park, and then it was where it was going to go, and which your camera can't see, but it's looking straight down Church Street.
And that's special because?
Well, Steve lived on Church Street. We all lived there. Steve was, like I say, active with the college, and just how our neighborhood looks is basically, and the things that we've done in this neighborhood is from all that. So,
that's a great example of how neighborhoods can work together. And starting out with a small event, selling pumpkins, and look how much money you raised. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things I think people feel sometimes, that they can't change their situations, and government isn't really, is maybe more of an adversary, but that isn't the case. If you really were to set out, this is what we want to do, there's no limits that way. I think that anyone, if you're trying to improve your neighborhood, and this is a great fundraiser. Since then, I went to Pumpkins Anonymous, and I no longer have the urge to gut and to do 100 pumpkins, we used a shop vac to gut the stuff out of it. We start on a Thursday night and gutting them, and then you couldn't, they don't last long. So we had to have them. It was always a Saturday before Halloween, and that's when the kids would line up in here for getting candy and stuff. So they were aware that there was pumpkins that night when they went through the downtown area. But after gutting them, then we'd carve them and we'd get them down here, and they'd last probably a week unless a squirrel got to them at someone's house. But people lined up, and then for an hour and a half while it was dark. It was, if you look on the internet, it's quite interesting how it looked. But yes, anybody in any neighborhood can do this, so it's fine, and it works great.
And I know that you worked closely with the Parks and Leisure Services Department to get the bench, so it was a collaborative effort between the neighborhood group and the city.
I can't say enough about Brian Ramsey and Larry Arf and stuff. I guess in my life, no one's ever said no. I even married someone that never says no. So they've always been good. I don't ever have a feeling like no, you can't do that. They're always like, okay, Bill, let's talk about it and stuff. So stay tuned for the next things.
All right. Thank you so much, Bill, for being with us. And please, everybody, stop by and visit the bench. I'm at the library today with Tina Kukuski. She's the Circulation Services Manager. It's a big, long title. Tina is here today to tell us about what I think is a great program at the library. It's called Food for Fines. Explain to us exactly what that is.
Food for Fines is a program where we allow patrons to come in with non-perishable food items in lieu of paying their fines. So if you bring in one box of crackers, for instance, we'll take $1 of your fines off of your record. It only goes up to $10, so the maximum is $10. But Food for Fines started on November 5th, and it's going through November 17th. So we're encouraging everyone who wants to contribute to the local food pantry to bring in food in lieu of their fines.
Is this the first year that the library has done this program?
No, this is the third year that I know of. In the past, it is very successful. Patrons really loved the opportunity to do this. All of the donations go to the Caritas Food Pantry. So right after Thanksgiving, the pantry has been sort of cleared out somewhat because it's been very busy. This is a way for us to help supply the pantry again. In the years past, I have some figures here to let you know just how popular this is. Last year, for instance, the library collected 1,700 items and we waived $1,300 in fines. And the first year in the new building that we did this, in 2010, we collected 1,100 items and we waived $850 in fines. So we're doing a lot for the community, I hope.
I think you are doing a lot for the community, and it's actually a very easy way for people to alleviate some of those fines that they might be facing.
Yeah, I think it's a win-win sort of situation. We're helping out the local pantry. Our patrons or customers are really thrilled to be able to bring food in instead. They feel like they're doing something helpful too, so everybody's happy about it. It's a really goodwill gesture.
If we were to bring in food for fines, do we stop at the desk right away when we come in, or do we come to the reference desk?
You come to the checkout desk, which is the very first main desk when you come into the library. Just bring your items up to the desk and tell us what you would like to do. We will go into your library record, take the fines off, we collect the items, and then we just, actually we're going to stack them up in a bin so people can see how many items are being brought in, and it's kind of nice to know how the program's going so you can kind of, see the progress of it if you want to come back and bring more items in later on. We're also taking donations for Caritas. If you don't want to bring food items in, you're welcome to bring in money or check, write it out to Caritas, and we'll be glad to pass that on also.
Well, I think it's a fabulous idea. And, before people clean out their cupboards, they should make sure that what they're bringing you is still, the date is still good, because why give something that people can't eat, right?
Right, it's nice that if you can take a look at it and check the expiration date and all of that, that's great. But if you don't have time to do that, or you're not sure, what it is, bring it on in anyways. We will look at those items and see what we can do with them. So,
Okay, well, thank you so much, Tina. I think it's a great program, and I hope you get lots of food.
I do too. Thank you.
The next guest at the library is Vicki Hahn. Her title is
Public Services Librarian.
Thank you, Vicki. And as such, she gets to do lots of fun things. One of them is sort of near and dear to my heart. It's the mitten tree. Vicki, the mitten tree is looking kind of sad. It's empty.
Well, we just started. October 20th was the first date to start collecting, and I have 2 sets of mittens here. They represent 10 items each. So this is 10 mittens, hats, or scarves, and this is another 10. So we've got started. We've got till December 3rd.
Okay. Till December 3rd, so we can start knitting. Vicki and I are both wearing our scarves. They aren't necessarily knit, but we just, wanted to remind people that you take mittens, hats, and scarves. It doesn't have to just be mittens.
Correct. And they don't have to be handmade. They can be crocheted, or they can be knit, either handmade or store-bought. And we have people that make fleece mittens, hats, and scarves, also sewing them. So either purchased or homemade. And so any of those work. And wouldn't you hate not having a scarf or gloves or something to keep warm? These kids don't.
Yes. And where did the mittens, hats, and scarves go once you collect them?
Okay, we collect them here as a central spot to help people in the city, know where to bring them. We take them to the Even Start, the Head Start, the domestic abuse shelter, and also the schools. And we need a lot of preschool size is the most we need. The big ones will go to the schools, but the other ones need a lot of things.
Well, I can knit tiny little mittens. Those are fast.
They are. They're fun, and they're very cute and colorful too. We don't put those out. We just put representation so that none of them disappear on us, and we can get them all to the people that need them.
I think it's a great program, and you do have several books. Of course, I found one to check out. It's called Just Hats, and you have a special display of knitting books?
Yes, we've had that up. How to knit and different patterns for hat scarves and hats for little ones. And this year we had something different we haven't had since we've moved to the new building. We decided it was time to have a how to learn how to knit class again. So we had a get together here last month, and we're going to do that at least once a year. So that kind of cultivates new knitters, which is fun to see, and gets more hat scarves and mittens made.
Well, I think this is a great program. Now, tell us what hours is the library open so you can accept all these donations?
Yes, we're open. We'll accept them anytime we're open. 9:30 until 9 on Monday through Thursday, 9:30 till 5:30 on Friday and Saturday. And they can be brought either to the checkout desk, the children's desk, or the reference desk. Either of those. They all get to me upstairs, and then I collect them and distribute them when it's time.
Okay, and you brought me a little reminder of this is the 9th annual already. I can't believe it. Are these available for people to take?
Yes, they're in the brochure rack, and they're also at the display where the knitting books are.
Great. So thank you for doing this wonderful program. keeping little children warm during the winter. I think it's awesome.
You're welcome. And thank everybody for donating through the years.
The library has so much going on this month. Vicki wants to tell us about yet one more exciting event that's going on at the library.
Well, the blue scarves reminded me that we are starting our Blu-ray collection right now.